What's good, folks, family, friends, loved ones, enemies, frenemies, wizards, witches, muggles, mudbloods, people of Middle-earth, to a Christmas edition of Disguise Coverage, the only podcast that gives you an equal amount of blueberries in each muffin, presented by the best pizza in Buffalo, New York, and that is One Pie Pizza. Find the online menu in the episode show notes, whether here on YouTube or whichever podcasting app or platform you are listening to this show on. I am your host, Anthony. Find me on Twitter at pro__ant. That's pro 2 ANT, or find me on Blue Sky at ProAnt. No underscores there, just PROANT. In this edition of Disguise Coverage, we are going to dive into the pistol formation, what it means conceptually, the benefits, why it potentially fits the Bills, and the increased usage we saw against the New England Patriots, tying into a bit of an uptick in usage against the Detroit Lions. The pistol offense is something I've been clamoring for a bit over the past several seasons for the Bills to incorporate more, just because of the benefits it can have overall for any offense conceptually and schematically, but specifically how that would tie into the Bills offense, given the skill set of Josh Allen, given how he likes to work, the traits that he has, what he's able to do. And I thought the pistol would really be something that could potentially unlock Allen and this offense further, be kind of a force multiplier of sorts. And again, that's just aside from the regular benefits that it offers, the running back position, the quarterback position, the offense as a whole, schematically and conceptually. We're going to get into those pieces in this episode, the benefits of the pistol. We're going to dive into some film from the Bills' victory against the New England Patriots to show some of those aspects and some of those pieces, and overall have a conversation about this formation, because, and again, it could just be a 2-week, one off, or 2 off, I should say, with what we saw against Detroit. But the uptick we saw with it against the Patriots, we're starting to see more wrinkles in this offense in terms of concepts and schemes, and then this formation wrinkle. I think this could be something they start to lean into further going down the stretch. And again, regardless if they do or don't, I really do think it is a beneficial piece for this offense to wield now and or in the future, given the presence of Josh Allen, and again, what it means conceptually overall. But to set the table for this conversation, the reason I wanted to dive into it during the game against the Patriots, just watching it on TV, I started to note all the plays in pistol, not necessarily officially. I did that once I went through the tape and charted everything, but I just kept noticing pistol. Because again, it's not something they really live in. It's not a dominant piece of their offense. It's not something that's just, oh, ho hum, they're in pistol again. When they are in it, it makes me perk up a little bit, not just because I've always wanted them to incorporate more of it, but it's not something they regularly do. So game finished, day after, pulled some numbers, wanted to see what that kind of reflection was in terms of usage rate out of pistol against New England Patriots. So that's what I wanted to bring up first here. So I have this graphic that shows pistol usage rate, shotgun usage rate, and under center usage rate against the New England Patriots. And you can see that first column there, out of the pistol, 13 plays for a 22.4% usage rate, 8.9 yards per play, a plus 1.21 EPA per dropback, which is crazy high, a plus 0.22 EPA per rush, also very successful. And then take a look at the black font on the bottom there. That Bills pistol usage rate against the Patriots this past Sunday was the highest pistol usage rate since week 1, 2020 versus the New York Jets, where they had a rate of 24.7%. So a significant jump in terms of the volume, but also in terms of that percentage usage rate out of the entire offensive script they ran for this game. And then got shotgun usage rate in the middle, under center usage rate to the right. And you can see there for shotgun, the plays, the yards per play, the EPA per dropback, the EPA per rush. Same thing for under center. Shotgun being the dominant flavor for this game. But if you look at pistol there, starting to creep in, almost like it replaced the under center game potentially for the Bills a little bit, or at the very least started to become a third incorporation in terms of alignment and formation. I think it's interesting to note that, just given how significant that usage rate was, the success they had out of it. Again, sample size isn't crazy. 13 plays, 8.9 yards per play. They had 3 passes out of it, 10 runs. Again, those 3 passes, sample size does affect this, but a positive 1.21 EPA per dropback, which is extremely successful, and then a positive 0.22 EPA per rush, which is a very good stat from an EPA perspective for the ground. Again, it could be just a 2-game blip. Saw a little bit of an uptick versus the season average against Detroit, even further against New England. I think this could be something that they will incorporate going forward. I would like them to incorporate it going forward, but again, could be just a 2 game blip. Either way, I do think it's important to note. Now, you might be sitting there and say, why should I care? What's the big deal about pistol? Why does it matter? Why is it good? Why should we note this uptick in usage rate? What does it mean? So I want to start with the benefits of it conceptually and what it means. I want to start with a quote from Sean McVay that he gave in an interview with Robert Mays of The Athletic back during the summer. Tremendous video. If you have not watched it or if you haven't listened to it on the podcasting apps or platforms, I suggest you do. It's about 59 minutes long. It's filled with tons of great details about football schematically and conceptually, but also a lot of just good life stuff, how McVay sees the game, how his approaches to coaching and being a leader and culture and just as a father and person in general. It's really a tremendous job from McVay and Robert Mays putting it together and orchestrating all of that. But this quote from Sean McVay, because the Rams did see a significant uptick in pistol in 2023, and Mays asked him about that. McVay's answer was, quote, "Pistol gave us the ability to activate different parts of our offense that maybe we would typically only run out of shotgun. And I thought there were some things about the run, the phasing and the spacing of the run game was very similar to being in the dot meaning under center. There's some differences, but it's very similar timing. You can keep the landmarks for the way you're hitting blocks the same because the back is still starting in the same location." And then he followed up with another comment after saying, "You can just present more pre-snap while not losing any part of your dot run game." Again, dot meaning under center. So what do we pull from that, from one of the best offensive minds in football, talking about pistol, why he went into it? And again, some of those advantages tying into what McVay said, but overall just conceptually of why teams lean into the pistol. The whole idea is being able to kind of marry and merge the best pieces of the under center game with the shotgun game. So you can stay in shotgun essentially for your quarterback while being able to use a more expansive menu of zone and gap run concepts from the under center world. Your run game menu is more limited out of shotgun, and it's harder to also get a downhill game and at you, through you type of run game out of shotgun because of the running back's placement. Under center limits you a bit from maximizing your quarterback's mobility. It limits RPOs, also makes your quarterback have to turn their back to the defense in order to run play action. Pistol can allow you to get downhill in the run while still being able to attack the width of the defense and incorporate the QB as a run threat from a more natural, organic type of dynamic. And so that's kind of the overall advantages of it when we're talking high level. And we break it down. I want to get into it conceptually and then from the QB position and the running back position. Conceptually, and I talked about this a bit in the advantages, it allows you to more naturally or organically incorporate a quarterback's mobility, like boots or read elements, for example, while still being able to get to core under center run concepts. Like I mentioned earlier, your run game menu is reduced in shotgun, especially with regard to gap scheme runs in terms of what you can get to and how effective you can be with what you can get to. With pistol, there's more variety in the run game along with built-in answers versus multiple fronts. It's easier to both run through a defense or around a defense. Like McVay talked about in that quote that I read, the offensive line aim points and angles, the quote unquote landmarks that McVay talked about, are similar or the same as they are under center. So the angles your offensive linemen are taking, or the blockers, if we're talking about tight ends and guys attached to the line of scrimmage, the angles that they're taking plus the track of the running back means you can still hit those under center run concepts that give you that versatility. Out of pistol, you can effectively work gap schemes and zone. You can lean into outside zone, or you could spam duo or counter or power. And you can do this without sacrificing the beneficial elements that shotgun provides you overall for the offense and for your quarterback. You can also disguise your intentions and hide tendencies a bit more because you can get to more from a formational perspective in terms of bodies that you're attaching to the line of scrimmage or who's hipped off, the personnel that you can lean into as well. All of these little additives and auxiliary pieces that add to disguising your intentions and hiding your tendencies, all within that idea of just having your quarterback be in the pistol, the alignment of the quarterback and running back. So all of these things kind of stack, and that's where that force multiplier piece I talked about earlier comes in. Again, the defense knows your run game is limited to a degree out of shotgun. So when you get into pistol, they have to account for more because they have to account for those under center elements and those shotgun elements. And that downhill run presence that the pistol affords you also means you could potentially open up the middle of a defense a little bit more with play action, suck them in a little bit more, create more separation between that second and third level. When we're talking about it from the quarterback standpoint, again, I mentioned a couple of these pieces, but being in the shotgun in general, it's a better vantage point for a quarterback. So being in the pistol still allows the quarterback to see the field more, or, from a better vantage point like they would in shotgun, which is obviously beneficial to them and to the entire pass game by extension. You can run play action with or without turning your back to the defense. When you are in pistol, you have the option of either. Some quarterbacks like it, some quarterbacks don't, in terms of turning your back to the defense. When you turn your back to the defense or play action, it can help you hide the ball and sell that play action or that run fake a little bit more, but it can also make life a little harder or more difficult on a QB, because you have to turn your back and then turn back around, read the coverage or any pre to post snap changes from the defense. So it can be a little bit more added stress from a mental perspective. And then also, again, from the quarterback's perspective, you can still maintain traditional passing concepts in pistol while also having that blend of play action. Again, it really is that marriage or merging of the best elements from under center and the best elements from shotgun. When we talk about the running back, the vision for the running back is similar or the same as being in the dot, like Sean McVay referenced earlier. And being in that type of position, having that space and that depth to work with, it gives the running back more time to read and attack, as they have a runway to work from a deeper depth, as opposed to a shallower depth and less runway/time when they're lined up in the shotgun. You give the running back the opportunity to build up speed, have more time to flow, to read, pick their spot, get north and south, and attack. Or, again, you can bounce it outside. There's just more options while giving the running back time, vision, the runway to get downhill, attack in a variety of forms and fashions. So there's benefits to the running back, there's benefits to the quarterback, there's benefits conceptually and schematically to the offense as a whole, all of that tying into pros for the offense and then cons potentially for the defense. So wanted to put all of that into perspective, the metrics and some of the data from this past game against the Patriots, why that matters, why that's important, what pistol means. I thought that quote from Sean McVay, again, one of, if not the best, offensive mind in all of football, putting that formation into perspective of why he pivoted to it in 2023 and what it allowed him to do. Again, a little bit different because of what kind of quarterback Matthew Stafford is versus Josh Allen. But that's why I think the pistol is even more exciting for a team like the Bills. Pistol allows you to incorporate more natural run game elements from your quarterback. Even again, if it's just read option stuff or boots, any type of movement, the pistol allows you to take advantage or maximize that mobility even further. And when you've got a quarterback like Josh Allen, who is great on the move in terms of by design with the run or scrambling and running or scrambling to throw, being able to maximize his athleticism, being able to maximize that mutant alien unicorn ability that he has, really is a tremendous piece. And especially as you go towards the playoffs and get into the playoffs, this isn't the aspect of the season where, okay, it's early on, it's September, it's October, let's keep some things in the bag, or let's make sure we keep everybody healthy. As you get into the playoffs, you are emptying the clip with anything and everything you got, trying to survive and advance with each week. And that means maximizing everyone and everything. So the pistol, being able to maximize what Josh Allen can do with his arm, but also with his legs, it gives you the opportunity to fully empty the clip, not just for Josh Allen, but for the entirety of this offense, in weaponizing Josh Allen and what that means by extension for the rest of the players and the rest of the group as a unit, conceptually and schematically. With that being said, let's dive into the tape and see how the pistol worked for the Bills against the Patriots this past weekend. Got 8 plays that we are going to dive into from the Bills' victory against the New England Patriots. Again, like I mentioned earlier, and like the graphic showed, 13 plays out of pistol for the Bills in this game. We're going to go through 8 of them to highlight the conceptual pieces, the advantage pieces that I talked about earlier that Sean McVay mentioned in that quote that I read. Several of these plays, myself and Eric went over in the film room, so I'm not going to dive into them as much as we did in the film room from an individual player standpoint or play standpoint, but I want to highlight them in this conversation in the scope of pistol, what it means, the advantages and the benefits, like we talked about earlier and like we went over earlier in this episode. So this first play is the James Cook touchdown run, the outside zone or stretch look from the Bills out of offset pistol. Cook gets shifted into the backfield by Josh Allen. We saw that a bunch in this game, kind of initial shotgun alignment. Cook being next to Josh Allen. Allen would shift Cook behind him, or he'd do it with Ty Johnson. We saw this a multitude of times, shifting from shotgun to pistol, which I thought was a nice little touch. Just another little wrinkle to throw at defenses. Anytime you can throw more stuff at a defense, I'm a fan of, as long as you're not gumming up the works too much and putting too much stress on yourself offensively. Offset pistol look. Here's Allen. Here's Cook. Got the pistol. Offset, just alluding to Reggie Gilliam being over here. Reggie Gilliam had a good game in this one. Saw an increased snap share and usage rate this week. I don't think it's coincidental that it happened in line with more pistol usage. He's a hammer, but also gives you some versatility because of his athleticism. You can align him as a true fullback, kind of a quasi tight end or H-back, what he can do as a blocker against a variety of body types and skill sets. Also has enough athleticism to kind of get out in the pass, maybe catch some balls, get 2 or 3 catches a game type of deal. I like an incorporation of more Reggie Gilliam into the offense and what he means from a physicality and athleticism perspective in terms of that overall combination. Outside zone. Here we go. Allen's going to snap the ball here. Really good job up front, highlighted here by Connor McGovern, just really attacking his man, almost jump sets him on the snap. He snaps the ball, he's out of the gate, chops down, gets great positioning, turn, leverage established, butt and back to James Cook to create that alley. Reggie Gilliam's going to do a really good job partnering with Alec Anderson here to widen the hole. You're going to get nice communication and tandem work between David Edwards and Deion Dawkins here on that block. And then this is where we kind of talk about that runway a little bit, right? So let's watch James Cook get this ball. Going real time a little bit. Now we'll go slow motion. So here we go. He's taking that outside zone angle. Eyes are up. And this is what I talk about, that runway. He's got the time because he's coming from a deeper depth, because he's coming from the dot. He's got the time to survey, see what's going on. And then he has the juice to put his foot in the ground, get north and south, and get downhill. Maybe this isn't the best concept if you have a slower, more plodding type of running back without the juice or the explosivity that you would like. So you can take Cook and allow him that time, allow that runway, and then when he sees it, he can hit it and pop off for a big run because he's got the juice and because he's got the explosiveness. Also, because the Bills have a good offensive line, they can hold on to these blocks a little longer, affording James Cook the time to read, get downhill, hit the hole, and take advantage of that runway. If you have an offensive line that can't hold their blocks as long, or like I mentioned, if you have a running back that doesn't have that juice or that kind of foot speed, maybe this isn't something that you can kind of hit with regularity. But Cook has the juice. The offensive line is good. Also, let's watch O'Cyrus Torrence getting on his giddy up to get to the second level to make a good block. And this is Cook just taking advantage of the runway, figuring out where he wants to go. This could be an option. This could be an option, but it's still a little muddy. He's reading, he's watching, he's taking advantage of the runway. He sees what starts to develop in here. He sees the great block from Connor McGovern. He sees Torrance climbing. He sees Edwards. So he's like, you know what? Let me put my foot in the ground. Let me get here. Mapu is coming from depth. He's here. Cook is going to go here. Take advantage. He's off to the races. Matt Collins knows it. He's pointing. Brown is pointing. Torrance is pointing. Gilliam is pointing. One last piece I want to point out here. Eric and I talked about it in the film room this week. The impact of Josh Allen's mobility on the defense. Watch as Allen gives the ball here to Cook. He executes kind of like that play fake. Like, okay, you know, am I booting? Am I booting? Do I still have the ball? Here I go. And he goes. It just holds some defenders back here. And it's a big impact on this play because it holds Duggar. If we watch number 23, it holds Duggar just enough. Number 23, right here. Does a good job holding him just enough. He comes down. He stops a little bit. It's just that little hesitation in honoring Josh Allen. And then Cook has the juice. And Duggar just isn't able to get there. And Cook is off to the races. So, nice play to start out with. A big house call for James Cook out of the offset pistol. The next play that we're going to get into is counter with blast motion, again, from offset pistol. Extra offensive lineman in the game, as we did on that first play to James Cook. This is that first play again. What do we have here? Reggie Gilliam in the offset. Alec Anderson is the 6th offensive lineman, but essentially he's lined up as a tight end here, but he's not a tight end. He's an extra offensive lineman. The Bills continuing to lean into that with this next play. Also notice the formational similarities here, right? We've got the formation into the field side here where Gilliam is, where Anderson is, and then all the space on the field over here because they are in the boundary on this side. So we've got the formation to the field, extra offensive lineman, offset pistol. Very similar to what we had on this first play. This zone run to James Cook, this house call, extra offensive lineman, Reggie Gilliam over here, formation into the field, ball on the far hash, right? So a similar formation, a similar personnel grouping, a similar presentation, but now we're going to get a gap scheme run and we're going to get it with a unique presentation. We talked about it in the film as well, so I'm not going to dive too much into the blast motion piece. Here, I just want to highlight the versatility of coming out with same personnel grouping, similar formation into the field, presenting that same type of look. What Sean McVay mentioned, what I mentioned after that, being able to make the defense have to account for multiple things because you can come out with this same type of look and get to a multitude of schemes and a multitude of concepts all within a similar presentation and similar initial design pre-snap. So we're going to get that counter. Alec Anderson's going to come in that blast motion. Reggie Gilliam's going to follow him. What I really like about this play is that blast motion from Alec Anderson, number 70. This play is a counter. It essentially plays out like GF counter, which just means, you have the guard and the fullback are your pullers there. It essentially just plays out like GF counter because of where Anderson is on the snap. And again, we have that similar presentation to the Cook play, the play before that we just looked at. So here comes Alec Anderson in that blast motion. He's peeking inside. He's already waiting. Allen gives him the signal. Here he goes. Great snap timing here. So Allen snaps it. And when the ball is snapped, this is what I'm saying. Like normally in a GF counter, there's your guard pulling, and then here comes the fullback to lead through. Now you've got Anderson, who's the tight end, leading that through, and then Gilliam is following behind him. But it's the timing of it. So essentially, Anderson, even though he's the tight end and he's coming in that blast motion, it's almost like he's kind of pulling from the guard spot based on the timing of this snap. We'll let the play run here. There goes Anderson. He's going to meet the edge. Nice collision with Anthony Jennings. Gilliam is looking for that play side backer. It gets a little muddy. Ray Davis sees the crease develop, and he hits it. Also, a nice little backside element here. If you watch, here's Kyle Duggar on the screen up here. We're going to get a push crack from Mac Hollins, who is off screen here, but he's going to come and he's going to push crack on Kyle Duggar there. Play this play in real time a couple times so you can see blast motion. There goes Anderson, edge. Gilliam's looking for that play side backer. You saw Hollins crack on Duggar. So again, similar presentation to what we just saw, but instead of running outside zone, you run a gap scheme, and a gap scheme that the Bills don't lean into a lot. The Bills haven't run counter a bunch this year, and they definitely haven't run it with this type of blast motion that we see. We see the Packers run this blast motion. You'll see the Rams run this blast motion. Again, college, NFL, you're seeing a lot of the trends that we're seeing across good football offenses at multiple levels, college and the NFL. You're seeing Joe Brady start to incorporate more of those elements into the Bills offense this season, to start the season and as the season has gone on. Next player we're going to look at is pretty much the same play that we just looked at, except it's being run with James Cook instead of Ray Davis. But again, notice the similarities to the previous two plays. Formation into the field, extra offensive lineman aligned as that tight end, offset pistol, Reggie Gilliam in the game. Again, formation into the field, all that kind of stuff. First time we showed it, they ran that house call outside zone to James Cook. The second time we showed it, we got that counter look with Ray Davis and Gilliam and Anderson. Now we're going to get that same counter look again. We're going to get that blast motion from Anderson. We're going to get Reggie Gilliam following him and then James Cook following both of them. This time it works out a little bit more as designed. You're going to get, boom, Anderson there on the edge. Gilliam is going to flow through to the linebacker, and then James Cook is just going to follow and get upfield. Another 8-yard gain. Again, some good blocks and a good job from the offensive line, but my point in highlighting it is what the pistol affords you, being able to get to this type of counter look and the runway again for James Cook, similar to the runway for Ray Davis. On that play before, Davis was able to read how the blocks were developing, and then he punctured and got up inside and got north and south really quick. Cook here, he's going to step, he's going to follow. Look how he's able to pace it and attack the hole. You get that runway. You're able to come from depth. You have the time. You have the vision to be able to survey, to read, and then get north and south and attack. A good downhill aspect here that can puncture in a multitude of ways, depending on how the front develops, depending on how the blocking scheme aligns and plays out. that's part of the advantages too, like I mentioned earlier, right? Being able to use this against, a multitude of fronts because you've got more bodies attached to the line of scrimmage. So you just have to have rules for who's picking up who, but you have those rules in place, knowing, okay, if your backside gap is filled, what your responsibility is. If it's not, what your responsibility is. So you can come out here and still work some double teams. You can still get some one-on-ones. The angles are still present. The landmarks are still there, advantageous and or similar to the under center game, all while being in shotgun and having the opportunity to have advantageous pass game aspects if they wanted to pass out of this similar look. This next play that we're going to look at is going to be another offset pistol formation into the field like we showed for the first 3 plays. This time we're going to get Reggie Gilliam motioned into the offset pistol. Gilliam is far outside here before the play starts. Allen is going to motion him in. And we're going to get more of a traditional counter with Mac Hollins kind of setting an influence block on the edge on Anthony Jennings. So when I say more traditional counter, it's kind of what I talked about earlier. Kind of, you'll get GT counter, GF, GH. That guard is the puller. He's kicking out the edge. And then you're getting a tackle or an H-back or a fullback leading through, looking for that linebacker or that first guy in through the hole. Good job here from Mac Hollins, like I mentioned, on Anthony Jennings. This is a mismatch. Anthony Jennings is great against the run. You don't want Mac Hollins blocking him. That's a disadvantageous aspect for the Bills. So you're going to get Hollins influencing him a little bit, and then you're going to get a pull from Torrance, and you're going to get Reggie Gilliam following Osiris Torrance in that regard. So let's watch Hollins first, number 13 on the snap. Lines up. Hey, I'm going to block you. I'm going to block you. I'm going to block you. Psych. I'm moving forward. Now here comes Torrance to crack the edge. Not literally a crack block. I just mean crack, like pop him, boom. And then we get Gilliam, boom, on Tavai. So we get hat on a hat. Hollins, after that influence, is now climbing up to get Kyle Duggar. Inside is all muddy and all gummed up. Ray Davis does a good job bouncing this. Gets one-on-one with the corner, makes him miss, gets first down. So now what have we shown out of this? We've shown outside zone. We've shown that blast motion counter, and now we've shown more of a traditional counter. Watch how Josh Allen is opening. And again, keep that in mind too. We talked about it. Maximizing the mobility of the quarterback, whether it's on bootlegs and stuff tied to play action, or if you want to run read option or zone read or RPOs and have more of that modern day triple option type of feel. Watch how Allen goes here. And this, again, is what you can build on for later. Here goes Allen. He opens up. He's giving it to Ray Davis. This is just a run play here, but maybe this ties into a read later and he's keeping it. Or maybe this turns into a read and he's keeping it, and maybe we're leaking Dawson Knox over, or we're running a little tight end delay a little bit. There's all these levels and layers to which you can build off of this formation, this design, and where things go from there, because you can get to multiple pieces initially as a foundational aspect conceptually with the pistol, and then all the little layers and bells and whistles you can attach to it going forward. Fun and exciting stuff for the Bills to get to. And good job by Ray Davis, seeing the muddiness, bouncing it, making a guy miss, gets the first down. This next play we're going to show is Ty Johnson running mid-zone, showing this one to kind of, again, put into perspective the shotgun and then Allen motioning or shifting the running back into the backfield. We saw it a bunch in this game, but it made each play longer, and I didn't want to keep showing it and showing it and showing it, but it was happening on a multitude of these plays, including several of the ones we've already shown. So here's Ty Johnson, initially aligned at Josh Allen's depth. Allen signals to him, hey, go back there. And he's like, hey, did you not see me? Go back there. Sweet. Ty Johnson gets into the dot, gets behind Allen. We are now in the pistol, and showed that first run for James Cook. Outside zone, this one more of a mid-zone type of run. Outside zone run, your aim point is the inside leg of the tight end. The mid zone run is more on that inside leg of the offensive tackle. So it's just a difference of, going this way versus going this way with the track. It can be a little muddy to read at times because you're hitting a moving target, but you can see the difference between Johnson's trajectory here on this run versus what Cook's was on the first play that we showed. No offset pistol here. We don't have Reggie Gilliam in the backfield. We don't have a 6 offensive lineman in Alec Anderson this time. We've got Knox attached to the formation. We've got Mac Hollins attached to the formation here. So we've got a 7-man surface, but we don't have a heavy look. And we're just going to run mid-zone to Ty Johnson. There goes Ty. You can see his track. This actually develops nicely, but Anthony Jennings, number 33, gets free. He gets through Knox, but Johnson does a really good job here making him miss. Hollins is blocking Gonzalez downfield. Johnson's able to put his shoulder down and get through Duggar a little bit. Turns this into a 5-yard gain. Kind of, probably, maybe should have been dead to rights in the backfield as Jennings gets through. And again, what do we have here? Ty Johnson coming from the pistol, coming from that depth, having that time to read and react and survey and attack what is going on in front of him. Allen's going to put him to the dot. Going to get the ball. Again, gets that runway. Where do I want to go? Do I want to put my foot in the ground and get north and south now? Do I want to string this out and maybe think I can turn the corner? Do I maybe want to string it out a little bit and then get north and south and puncture the defense? He's able to read, have that vision, have that landscape to be able to see and assess and survey, have that time, and then he's got the ability to make a move and attack. And then the offensive line, again, we talked about it earlier, like the offensive line and even Hollins, like these guys hold their blocks. So he's got that time to survey and attack. Spencer Brown does a good job climbing, and this turns into a nice 5-yard gain because those blocks are sustained, because they're moving downfield, because they're getting hats on hats and being effective. And a good job by Ty Johnson. But again, having that runway, coming from that depth, affording him that time to survey and assess and go forward. The next 3 plays we're going to show are the 3 pass plays that the Bills had out of pistol. Again, a 1.21 EPA per dropback in this game, which is just absolutely unreal from a numbers perspective. And this first one here, again, I'm not going to get too much into the concepts or everything that's happening here, but it's just Josh Allen to Khalil Shakir. Why does this matter in the concept of pistol? Allen is in that shotgun depth. He has the field vision. He's able to read and scan and go through his progressions in order to find Khalil Shakir. So we're going to get some pistol here. Here goes the snap. Let's watch Allen. He's immediately going to his left to the bottom of the screen. He's going from 1 to 2. Do I like what's going on down there? It's a little muddy. Gonzalez is on Knox. Jennings is underneath Hollins. I don't like that. Let me get my eyes back to the right. Okay, I'm starting to scramble a little bit. Shakir does a good job working to open space. Allen throws him to that open space, and he hits Khalil Shakir. When you are in shotgun, you have that ability to see the field better and or just have a better vantage point to survey and see the field instead of being under center. And then that combined with you don't have all the steps and the footwork requirements to go from under center to hit the top of your drop. Allen's able to just get the ball, take a couple steps comfortably. He's able to survey while he is taking those steps, and those steps, even if I'm not playing it in slow-mo, those steps in real time are just calm and cool. He doesn't have to hustle and get to the top of his drop like he's coming from under center. Boom. Surveys, and he hits Shakir. I'll show it from the end zone angle here. And the end zone angle would do a good job if this field goal post just wasn't stupid and literally right in the way of the camera angle, but you can still see it a little bit. Allen snaps it. He's looking to the left. You can see doesn't have anything. Okay, let me go to the right. But he's able to sit and bounce at the top of his drop, survey, scan, get through his progressions. Tied to that shotgun depth, but it's coming from the pistol. And again, good job from Shakir to make that move to find space. Another pass out of pistol here. This time we're going to get this escort swing, something we've seen from the Bills and a lot of teams in football now, college and the NFL, becoming kind of a favorable thing to look at. So we've got the pistol. Reggie Gilliam is in the game. We're going to get, some fake blast or jet motion, and then he's going to get a return. Allen, there you go. What do we see again? That initial kind of shotgun look. Allen signals the back to get into the backfield, something we saw a ton in this game. So now we are in the pistol. There goes Reggie Gilliam. Coming in blast motion or jet. Psych, I'm going back. We're going to fake the toss a little bit, or fake the pitch, I should say. Allen looks to the middle of the field. It didn't really suck up these defenders in the second level. Knox is pretty well covered. Hollins isn't necessarily coming away with anything. So Allen sits, surveys, takes his time, checks it down to Cook, who has an advantage because it's Gilliam one-on-one with a corner as a blocker. And now this is really good run defender Anthony Jennings out in space. Him out in space is not something the Patriots want, and definitely don't want that against James Cook. Bang. Cook with the juice to get upfield. But again, tying this into pistol, the depth that Allen is at, watch as this play action comes through. He doesn't have to turn his back. The initial run action from the pistol flows into the escort swing. So the natural flow of everything, Allen being able to scan and see that the play isn't there. Similar to what we talked about on the first play, right? He doesn't have to take as many steps. He doesn't have to hustle with his footwork and with his pace to get to the top of his drop coming from under center. He's able to fake that little pitch. And now look at, he's already at the top of his drop, allowing him to scan and look and see what he's got going on there. Doesn't have anything. Cool. Just check it down. This is first down. Nice, easy button type of play. And Cook makes something out of nothing and gets a first down. Also, I pointed this out in the film room. I want to point it out again here. Amari Cooper just absolutely cooks the corner down here with his release. Bang. Oh, poor guy. One more time. It looks more like he loses his footing more than anything. Oh, just, yeah. Balls. Rug gets pulled out right from under him. But again, tying into the pistol, right? Having this formation, but not losing those quarterback-friendly shotgun passing elements, even though you are in this formation that allows you to get to more within a run game world. This last play that we're going to look at here is play action from the pistol. Now we have that offset look with Reggie Gilliam in the backfield. No heavy look, traditional tight end here, over here. No Alec Anderson. Got that offset. This time we're going to get the play action. We are going to have Josh Allen turn his back to the defense, which again can be a benefit because you're hiding the ball a little bit more, playing more games with the defense. But again, the key, less footwork and less steps needed to hit the top of his drop because he is in shotgun. So you still have that downhill run game threat. You still have that conceptual, schematic potential, diversity, and variability that the pistol affords you, but you've got some of those shotgun passing elements attached that are QB friendly, making it easier on the quarterback. Allen's going to snap the ball, turns his back. Again, boom. He's at the top of his drop. We get a nice pocket. He's got time. He's already scanning and reading and at the top of his drop. And now he's just bouncing on the balls of his feet, waiting for the route distribution to unfold, waiting for the coverage to unfold. And he does a really good job. You're going to watch him just peek a little bit towards James Cook down here, which is going to move Kyle Duggar just enough this way so Allen can fire into this window and hit Keon Coleman. Little peek there from Allen. There it is. Let me open up a little bit to move Duggar. Bang. And fire a dot to Keon Coleman. So this is really good stuff from Allen, right? But talking about it within the idea of the pistol, he's afforded that time. He's afforded that vantage point. He's afforded this all because of the formation. Those quarterback-friendly shotgun elements being merged and married with the potential of under center core run game work, that blend of both worlds, that marriage of both worlds, that meshing and marriage of all of it coming together. And this all, right? This is just running back runs and Allen making 3 successful plays through the air with his arm, right? This isn't even getting into the crazy world that I talked about of the quarterback run game stuff, like what Philly does with Jalen Hurts. This isn't even unlocking your quarterback as a weapon with his legs and on the ground. We didn't see a ton of boots here. We didn't see a ton of QB design run stuff or read elements or option elements. This is just like the bare bones of it. And we saw success because of the formational advantages with it and how the Bills are from a run game standpoint with their running backs and offensive line. So this is kind of like the base layer foundation. This isn't even really getting into the hell you can fully put a defense in. This is just the core ideology of Pistol at this point. So if they continue to build on this and add layers and they decide to unleash Josh Allen to his full potential and empty that clip come playoff time or going forward, this is something I expect to see. I expect them to lean into the Pistol a little bit more. And maybe that's just, the heart wanting what it wants from me potentially. So those are 8 of the 13 pistol plays that the Bills ran against the New England Patriots and had success with against the New England Patriots. Again, like I just mentioned, I do expect this to continue a little bit, and I just really, 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 really hope it does. The base level stuff that we just saw there, the run game versatility and the overall dynamics you add to the offense were present in some of what we showed, right? It all just gets amplified when you start to add the read elements and the Josh Allen design run game. And now maybe do we want to incorporate some bash, and do we want to have some RPOs, or do we want to have read option, or just, QB power and QB sweep stuff, and then tying that into having some tight end delay and some leak stuff. Like, it can get really fun and expansive and extensive for this offense, which is a problem for defenses considering they already have to account for the Bills' really good run game with the running backs, Josh Allen's legs as a scrambler, Josh Allen scrambling to throw, and then the regular Bills pass game that's gotten better in structure, and then what it has been successfully out of structure and off script. There's just a lot for defenses to have to account for. And I do think pistol is a really good tool in football today, but especially given Josh Allen's skill set with his mobility, his arm, his play style, how it fits with this Bills run game, which is so diverse. They can work zone. They can work a multitude of gap schemes. Being in the pistol allows you to marry those zone and gap schemes almost perfectly and be able to get to both of them and then extend them to your play action game, your pass game, and allow to have similar looks and presentations for a multitude of run and pass concepts, play action or not. There's just a multitude of fun that can really start to develop here from the pistol in terms of being a force multiplier and what it can unlock for this Bills offense. That'll do it for us here in this episode of Disguise Coverage. If you enjoyed this episode, and I sincerely hope that you did, please drop a like on this video here on YouTube. It goes a sincerely long way towards helping myself and the entire team to track and trend in front of more eyes and ears. Turn on notifications for the Disguise Coverage playlist here on YouTube. Subscribe to the Cover One channel to consume all of the brand content we have coming at you pretty much every single day of the week. If you are listening to this show on the podcasting apps or platforms, that's cool too. Please rate and review and subscribe on those audio platforms. Tell your family and friends and loved ones about how awesome this show is and or was. If you thought the show was terrible, tell your enemies and try and ruin their day by making them watch this episode. Shout out again to One Pie Pizza, the sponsor of this show, the best pizza in Buffalo, New York. Delicious sweet sauce pie, cup and char pepperoni, great cheese to sauce ratio, homemade blue cheese, a multitude of catering options, amazing mac and cheeses. They really are tremendous when it comes to anything and everything food related, and they're good people as well with all the donations and initiatives. They just finished up their Toys for Tots drive, so thank you very much if you contributed to that. But they do a lot. Online menu is found in the episode show notes here on YouTube or whichever podcasting app or platform you're listening to this show on. Merry Christmas. I hope you have a great Christmas Eve. I hope you have a great Christmas, a great rest of your week. I hope you and your family and friends and loved ones are all doing well and staying safe. Be kind to one another. Take care of one another. I will see you next week for another episode of Disguise Coverage. But until then, Godspeed, Merry Christmas, and as always, go Bills.